Hello everybody, welcome to Jeff's Baking Blog. Today I'm going to make a Madeira cake. This is similar to what some people may know as a pound cake, and I'm making it in a 2-pound loaf tin. You could make it in a round tin, maybe a 7-inch, 18cm round tin, but usually when I buy Madeira cake in a shop, it comes in a loaf form, though maybe not quite as large as this. So I have greased and lined my loaf tin. That's ready for the batter. Now the cake is quite simple to make, and it has a light flavouring of lemon. I'm using lemon zest, and I'm going to use the juice from that small lemon as well. If you didn't want a stronger lemon flavour like that, where I'm using the lemon juice, you could substitute that for maybe 2 tablespoons of milk instead. So for the ingredients, I have 300 grams of plain flour, and that works out at about 2.5 cups, and into that I'm going to put 2 teaspoons of baking powder straight away. And then I have 200 grams of golden caster sugar. Ordinary caster sugar or even granulated sugar would be fine. That's 1 cup. I have 3 large eggs, which would be extra large in the USA. I have 240 grams of softened butter. That would be 2 sticks and 1 tablespoon. And then I have the grated zest from my lemon, which was quite a small lemon, and I have the juice from that lemon, and that actually works out at 40 millilitres. So it's 2 tablespoons and a dessert spoon. So that should be enough just to make the batter of a more dropping consistency. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cream the butter and the sugar together. So I'm going to put that sugar and the butter into a larger bowl. And I'm going to do this with my hand mixer. You could do it in a stand mixer if you wanted to, and you could do it by hand if you wanted to, whichever is easiest. So I'm just going to cream that together. So I've mixed that together quite well, and I should say I have my oven preheating at 170 Celsius, that's 150 Celsius with a fan, 340 Fahrenheit. And what I'm going to do now, with that butter and sugar mixed together, is I'm going to mix in my eggs. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a tablespoon of the flour in with the eggs as well. So first of all I'm going to mix the baking powder around just to get that incorporated a little bit, and then I'll put the eggs in one at a time if I can, like that, and then about a tablespoon of flour, and I'll mix that in and do the same with the other 2 eggs. Right, so I've mixed those eggs in, and one of the things I should have said is I also have 1/4 teaspoon of salt, which I'm putting into the flour as well. So at this stage I'll add the lemon zest in, and I'll just give that a quick mix around. like that. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to sift the flour in. You could actually just put it in without sifting it, really, but I'm going to sift it in just to incorporate the baking powder a little bit better. And I'm going to stir that around at first just with a spatula, and then I'll give it a little mix on slow with my mixer. So just on slow so the flour doesn't go everywhere. And then as I'm mixing that, I'm going to drizzle in my lemon juice. And that's reasonably well mixed. So I'll just stir it with the spatula so that I can make sure that any flour on the bottom is picked up. And if I pick some of that up, it's almost, but not quite, of a dropping consistency. So what I'm going to do is, I'm just going to add just about a tablespoon of milk, just to loosen it slightly. You don't need to do that, but I just want that mixture to be slightly looser. So now that's dropping off just a little bit easier. So with that done, I'm going to put it into the loaf tin. And this is a £2 loaf tin, 23 centimetres by 13 centimetres. That's the top dimensions. And then I need to spread that around to level it off. You can use a spoon or a little spatula or something. Just like that. And then I'm going to put that into the oven, and I'm going to bake it at that temperature, 170 Celsius, 150 Celsius with a fan, 340 Fahrenheit, for about an hour until it's risen. It should split along the top, and then a skewer that poked into the centre should come out clean. And as soon as that happens, I'm going to take it out, let it cool down, and then I'll come back and show you the results. I baked the Madeira cake for 60 minutes, and then I tested it with a skewer, and there was still some crumbs sticking to the skewer. It was a bit moist, so I allowed it to bake for a further 8 minutes, and then I tested it again and the skewer came out clean. So I took the cake out and I allowed it to cool in the tin for 10 minutes. Then I transferred it to a wire rack to cool completely, and I've now cut it, and this is what it looks like. So it rose nicely, and as you can see, there's the split along the centre which I predicted, and I've cut a few slices, so I'll just have a taste of this one. That has the light lemon flavour. It's soft and it's moist, and it's firm on the outside but very soft in the centre, so the crust is just a bit firm. That will actually soften as well over the next few hours, I think. So it has that lemon flavour, just not very strong. You could actually vary it. You could use orange if you wanted to, but Madeira cake that I've had usually has a very, very light lemon flavour. So that's going to be it for this recipe. I hope you've enjoyed it, and if you have, please give me a thumbs up below the video and click to subscribe to my YouTube channel. In the top right hand corner of the screen there will be an eye that you can click on, which will take you to a link for the recipe, and I'll put a link for it below the video as well. And I'll be back with another recipe in the very near future. So until then, happy baking.